Hi everyone, Forrest here, and we're going to be trying a little something different today. This channel is meant to be for all my non-cosplay content, mainly my podcast, so please feel free to check that out while you're here. Over there, I talk about media as well as fandom culture. You may notice I don't have a standard video style, but instead use various art pieces as backgrounds featuring the characterized personas of me and my friends. While in part it is due to my wish to keep my life private, a lot of it stems from my love of art. I've been doing character design art since I was a freshman in high school and doing digital pieces since the start of quarantine. Art is a huge part of my life, so I wanted to share that with you guys and maybe inspire you. So come along as I show you my process. As I mentioned previously, I got my start doing a lot of character design. Pretty much every character at the time was based on some fandom or another. Namely, it was Percy Jackson or Harry Potter as a focus. Yeah, I'm still not out of it. But the video you're seeing is of my various characters from their years at Hogwarts and how I generally set up information sheets with their designs. Personally, I do suggest writing the information in a notebook or have a typed up version. This helps keep everything together and can always be edited as things change. For example, Morgan, my Gryffindor, is the oldest in the set. She was created back in 2014, and like many new OC creators, she was related to one of the main characters. Still is, but to be fair, 7 years later, she has a bit more of her own story that doesn't completely revolve around her brother. It is an important aspect to a lot of her actions later within canon, but it's not her entire personality. The other characters present are a lot more recent or getting redesigns now, so their stories aren't as fleshed out. Though, to be fair, Ace, the blue-haired Hufflepuff in the center, is an old self-insert character based on the persona I had made for the Hogwarts mystery game that came out a couple of years ago. Recently, I have been making more and more non-property based OCs for the potential of making a comic that I may have actually show off at some point. But one you guys are probably have become familiar with is my persona here, lovingly dubbed Fawn over in the corner. Not all poses and backgrounds are going to be the most simple things. As you may have noticed, there are figures in the back that are being used to get the framework structure of the pose that I want, and some help on things that I'm still working on trying to improve, such as hands and feet. The program that I used is called Easy Pose and is a good substitution for the little wooden dolls that are commonly sold in art stores for reference. Free app holds the same purpose and is a lot more customizable. Not sponsored, by the way. As any artist will tell you, lighting is an absolute pain and really was for this one. Backlight isn't necessarily the hardest, but when it comes to lightning, yeah. It just made too much sense for this character to be flying through a storm. She is a daughter of Zeus after all. This lovely child here was my first ever OC, and it is probably obvious that she is in the Percy Jackson universe. Well, I don't have any of the original art of her anymore, or at least wanting to remember where they are. I do have some from early college years that was pretty much her original design, and clearly she has changed a lot. And before anyone says anything, I know a lot of stuff with her is very off from canon, such as with the shirt and wings. I don't really roleplay too much anymore, and even when I did, it was with friends who knew her, so I took the chance to have some fun with her concepts. And more than likely, she will be moved to original story eventually. As I mentioned previously, I use my own art for posting my podcast here on YouTube. This is to avoid having just a black screen to stare at if you keep the tab up while listening. I try and have them somewhat resemble what the topic is for that episode with the high fantasy setting that is just part of my brand. The one you're currently seeing is one for an episode that had to be pushed back, and the art may just end up being completely scrapped if things happen according to plan. But I spent way too long on this, so it will be shown in one way or another, dang it! This piece took me 15 hours to get how I wanted, and eventually how it turned out, and I'm sad it may not get used, but happy if it doesn't get used. Again, if things go how I want them to. But anyway, this piece was set from my original idea of the episode focusing on people's investment into fandoms, so I decided that the best possible setting was a library, completely inspired by the Spirit Library in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and just put in as many references as humanly possible. That was mistake number one, and got changed so quickly right after the sketch was finished. Still, plenty did remain, so leave what you find down in the comments. I will give a hint here, and that is, if you think it possibly is, it more than definitely is. I'm very obvious with it, and fandoms are repeating. So there will be more from one. More than one from one. Another big mistake that I made with this piece was me thinking I would fill all of the shelves with the books. You can see the moment I absolutely regretted it, and just stopped. This background here was one of the first to actually get completed, and considering the level of detail that went into this piece, I decided it would be better to try and stick to something more simplistic for the others to keep the level of work down to a minimum, and I think it fits my style just a bit more. And a huge shout out to the symmetry tool of Procreate, because I seriously don't think that it would have gotten finished without it. Art is a huge part of my life, and all I ever wish to do with it is to inspire others. If you are wanting to try something, go right for it. Don't let anybody stop you and just have fun. Art is meant to be for everyone, so go get some paper, pick up a pencil, and start drawing. Remember, it is a skill that does come with time and practice, so don't let yourself get discouraged if it doesn't come out how you want it to. Rome wasn't built in a day after all. It is never too late to start, and there is really no wrong way to start learning. Just do not trace someone else's art and claim it as your own. That is a huge no-no, so don't do it. People will call you out. Genuinely, just have fun with your art, and do not be afraid to try something new. If you made it through the video, thank you all so much, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of my work. If you want to see more like this in the future, please let me know down in the comments section below. Remember to subscribe if you like my content and click the bell icon to turn on notifications. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Once again, this is Forrest, and I'll see you in your next fantasy.